أعوذ بالله من الشيطان الرجيم بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم أعوذ بالله من الشيطان الرجيم بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم إذا جاء نصر الله والفتح ورأيت الناس يدخلون في دين الله أفواجا فسبح بحمد ربك واستغفر إنه كان توابا.
Thank you very much, Sidi Khalid. Before we begin, allow me to introduce the speakers very briefly. We have Madam Dr. Humaira Shahid from Pakistan, who is a former provincial legislator in Punjab, and Dr. Honoris Causa from Harvard University for her works in defending the situation of women in Pakistan. And most importantly, she has been instrumental in introducing the introduction and the passing of the Act of Anti-Riba legislation in Pakistan. And before we get to her very interesting and intimate talk this afternoon, we will have a foreword given by Sheikh Umar Vadilu, founder of the World Islamic Men, Sheikh of Darkawi Shadili Tarika, and the author of several leading books in the restoration of Mu'amalat. So, without further ado, I would like to hand over the microphone to Sheikh Umar Vadilu for a brief foreword before we get on to the main speaker of the day, which is Dr. Humaira.
Bismillah ar-Rahman ar-Rahim. Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh. It is a pleasure to introduce to you Dr. Humaira Shahid. These are the days of Riba. The Muslim world has fallen under the grasp of the criminal activities of the banks and Riba. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala has declared war on Riba. The main issue of the Muslim community today is the elimination of Riba. The liberation of the Muslim world and the liberation of the world as a whole depends on the Muslims eliminating Riba. Yet, we are only just moving deeper and deeper into Riba. Riba is the taboo subject. Nobody wants to talk about it, and if they do, nobody wants to do anything about it. The emphasis has been put in minor elements of the deal, while the big issue of Riba has been completely neglected, ignored, obliterated. Only a handful of people in the years I've been a Muslim have shown an interest and initiative in fighting this evil of Riba. One of these persons is here with us, is Dr. Humaira Shahid. She passed the first legislation in Pakistan punishing the banks and the money lenders, sending them to jail. Something should be done in Malaysia one day when Bank Negara is sent to jail and the people who followed and used this ringgit, or forced us to use the ringgit, are put to jail. But that day has not come upon Malaysia yet. You will have to wait for people who will emerge, undoubtedly, like Dr. Humaira Shahid, who has challenged the matters and has decided to act. For acting against Riba is an obligation of every mu'min, everyone who fears Allah. For we will have to render account for the times that we are living in and our participation in this criminal act. Only recently, she's passed 2 petitions and she's about to send another one to the court of Punjab one through the Federal Sharia Court, a petition against 12 laws in Pakistan, including the Act of Central Bank, the Act of Money Lending, the Act of Banking, the Act of Islamic Banking, which is equally haram, as you probably have figured out, and some other minor legislations, all of which have endorsed Riba in Pakistan. She has recently passed another petition through the courts of the government of Punjab, in Punjab, against the Central Bank of Pakistan. And that is the first time an individual has come in Pakistan and said the Central Bank is a criminal institution against the people of Pakistan. It's the first time. This is the lady who has done this remarkable, courageous work. And for that reason, we all owe to pay attention and to listen as eagerly as I suppose you will be, I am, into what is with her that she has taken on to this remarkable job. And with much further ado, I now introduce you to Dr. Humaira Shahid.
Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. Assalamu alaikum. I'm profoundly humbled by the introduction I'm given. But honestly, I'm the same as you are, with the same dilemma of a modern contemporary Muslim who's trying to understand the significance of action and who's afraid to make a choice. Isn't that where we all are stuck? We don't understand the freedom of choice. We don't understand the power of choice. So I'm just one of those few people who are like you, caught up in that dilemma. When should we act? What is the cost of acting? And is there, overcoming the futility of doing an act. So a few days back, I asked my Sufi Sheikh, I said, do you think I'm doing enough? And I got the most intimidating gaze. And he said, all the mess in the Pakistan is because of you, because you didn't do enough. And I thought to myself, and I said, but I'm the only person who's fighting riba. And he says, no, look at this mess, huge money lending mess. The country was handed over to a bunch of money lenders, and you people didn't even figure that out at that time. And I thought, oh my God, he saw everything. He probably saw that day that when I was frantically walking outside the lobby of Punjab Assembly, and I didn't know what to do, whether I should go inside and vote for President Musharraf to be the President of Pakistan, or I should stay back and rebel against my political leadership. And I thought, oh my God, I was so afraid of being charged with treason if I go against my political leadership. And then I thought, he also saw that when I was taking the oath, and I was, in this high that I'm establishing the sovereignty of Allah by taking the oath to the Constitution of Pakistan, I'm also subjugating my people to the economic exploitation of a third party, which is so secretly and so cleverly camouflaged in our constitutions. He knew I have been a collaborator. He knew there were lots of moments when I was silent, when I did not make a sound loud enough, clear enough for the people to understand what I'm saying. There were lots of votings where I didn't want to vote. I had to vote because otherwise I would have been singled out and punished by my political party. So my dilemma is not different from yours. But the story doesn't stop there. The story goes ahead. 1947, 14th August, 1947, Islamic Republic of Pakistan is born with this ideology, Islamic ideology, that the inception and the conception of Pakistan is based on the Islamic principles. So, in August 1947, Pakistan is born. And within few months, the State Bank of Pakistan is born. And the State Bank of Pakistan is given the duty to bring forward that economic system of Islam, which will establish the Sharia and which will establish the Sunnah of Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam. So what happens? We are the biggest hypocritical state, like many other Muslim countries, with the promise, and we start with Bismillah Rahman Rahim, Allah, Rasulullah, and parallel runs the system of usury and riba, the ultimate war against Allah. So on the one hand, like many other Muslim countries, we are a land of paradox, a land of contradictions. We say something, we do something else. And this was, and the traitors were in the beginning. So we had a series of hijacked governments, Pakistan, one after the other, which protected the system, which maintained the status quo, which helped those 25 families become more powerful and with more influence, and any substantial change was not possible. So in the end, I was a puppet parliamentarian in a bunch of status quo money landowners, industrialists, the game makers, and there was very little that I could do. So the story goes again. In 2002, I was heading the women's section of a Pakistan Urdu daily, and two women walk into my room and they request me that the reporter should leave the room, that they want to talk to me alone. So the reporter goes away and I ask them what's wrong. And they say, we have come from the famous red light area of Pakistan. We owe money to more than 3 money lenders at the same time. They were picked up from the shrines. They were seduced by the money lenders, where they would pay for the benefits of their family. For example, one of their mothers wanted to have a medical operation and they didn't have the money, so they got trapped. So 3 years they were working in this brothel, paying the compound interest of 3 money lenders by the kind of profession they have ended up. And they had tears in his eyes, and they refused that their story should be published in the newspaper. But they said, come and see what is happening there, how many women are trapped there. So with my investigative team, we started looking into this matter of money lending. And I was surprised because I thought, other than the banks, the money lending was not allowed to any public or private company. But I was taken aback. There are 1960 Punjab money lending ordinance, and there was similar in other provinces. They actually protected private money lenders to do what they were doing. They sheltered them. And they were sitting in every street, in every town, in every city, in every province. And these predatory lenders were the biggest, they were responsible for 60% of the crime of my province. So we published an ad in the newspaper, and more than 700 families contact me in 1 week. There were women who were forced into marriages. There were women who were sold into other clans. There were other boys who were murdered. Families had to leave their lands, agricultural lands. They had to hand over the registries of their properties, their houses. So there was a never-ending list of these money lenders and what they were doing. And everybody was silently quiet about it in so-called the Islamic Republic of Pakistan. So there was a problem in drafting the legislation to introducing that in the Punjab Assembly, because I was on one of the women reserved seats. And by women reserved seats, I mean proportional representation. I'm not directly elected, I'm nominated by my party. So the level of the subjugation of the women members is much more than the men. So anything that touches the economic policy of the province is not something that the women's seats can question. So anyway, we were able to move the legislation, and which was seriously resented by the law minister and my political leadership. And there were clear instructions given to them that dump the bill in the committee. It should never come back to the House for voting. So 2002, November, I went to the parliament. I introduced the bill in 2003, July. And the next 4 years was just a long battle with the committee. And the way the Pakistani Punjabi politics particularly Punjabi politics, is weaved is based on the revenue system, the revenue collectors, and the revenue department. So the senior member of the revenue board or the revenue minister is the god of the Punjab politics. And nobody dares goes against that, because you cannot have the administrative control of your constituency if you do not have good relations with the revenue department. So I was sitting in the revenue department, revenue committee, the parliamentary revenue committee, and trying to defend my point of view that Allah has forbidden usury, and it is a war against Allah, and we must and we have to eliminate this, especially when the predatory lending has exploited people to an extent that those people are like broke. And then the Constitution of Pakistan clearly says eliminate riba. So it is the duty of the province and the government and the state to eliminate it as soon as possible. So more than 65 years, that clause stays there as a decoration, and nobody wants to implement it and nobody will implement it, because the state breeds riba more than anybody else breeds it. So the bill has the privilege of being the most long-term period resting in the committees. The bill had to be taken like 14 extensions in the House. Every 3 months the bill expires, so it has to go back to the House to get an extension. More than 28 committee meetings, and they don't want to change even a comma of the bill. They don't want to send it back. They threaten. They use every delay tactics that is possible, because the minister is very angry and he doesn't want to take the bill back to the House. So cutting short a long story, it was a privilege to take a stand against the revenue, senior member revenue board, and to threaten the committee that I know my privileges as a member of the Punjab Assembly. I can take the bill back for voting without a unanimous recommendation from them. And this was the first time anybody had threatened or used that clause in our rules and regulations. But there were a lot of unsung heroes, the clerks of the revenue department who supported what I was doing. There were other administrative people from the law department who kept on sending me notes during the committee. This rule is in your favor and this rule is in your favor, and you can go back to the House and take the bill back for the voting. So anyway, we were able to bring it back to the House. It was probably one of the last sessions of my parliament. My parliament got dissolved after that. And contrary to what I was thinking, the people in the Punjab Assembly stood up. They went against their party lines, and the bill was passed. And it became the first legislation ever done by a private member. Prior to this, only amendments were made within the acts. You cannot repeal a provincial act and bring a new one. Being a private member, it's an impossibility. And then riba was never questioned. So this was the first time, and the honor goes to the members of the Punjab Assembly who stood up and voted for that. So this was the beginning. And then the Jamaat-e-Islami, who are the harbinger of Islam in Pakistan. Without them, we could have never been Islamic and Muslim, ironically speaking. So people stood up and they said, shame on you, a woman does that. This is your manifesto. This is Jamaat-e-Islami's manifesto that they have to do something, they have to eliminate riba, and Allah chose a woman. So this is like an ultimate cornering of the party. So they replicate my bill within the 15 days, and the KPK government moves it within the budget session, attributes it to the Punjab Assembly, and it gets passed. So half of Pakistan, within 15 days, gets divided on private usury, and the other half is still there. And all of a sudden, the State Bank and the other banks wake up, because they were so sure of not sending my bill back to the House for voting that they did not even change a comma. And interestingly, the definition of the money lender, private money lender, does include banks. It does not include the government banks, because I cannot touch the state according to the federal regulations. But any bank that comes under Punjab's administration can be questioned. So there have been a series of proposals of amending the law for the ambiguity of the definition of moneylender. But thank God, the Islamic parties have threatened, if they touch the law, they'll take a stand. So Sheikh Umar lands in Pakistan, and all of a sudden, the movement picks up. And because he's the person who brings the solution to Pakistan, we've been questioning the Riba-based system, but we had no solution. I had no solution. So his coming to Pakistan was a blessing of Allah for us. So and interestingly, the Federal Shariat Court, we have a pending judgment for the last 10 years. The time expires, and by the rules and regulations of the judiciary, the petition was back on the agenda for the hearing after 10 years. And he's there, and he writes this brilliant alternate to Riba, which we were able to put forward to the Federal Shariat Court. So right now, he's being accepted as an Islamic jurist, and he's going to give his, probably in the next or the next after that, Sheikh Umar has to appear in front of the Federal Shariat Court and explain what he has proposed. And later on, I will get the chance of defending what I proposed through him. So that is one thing we are doing. The other one is that he gave us the permission to challenge the state banks. And we have moved a petition which challenges inflation as illegal theft on people and illegal tax. And we've moved it in the High Court, the highest court of the province, because we don't want to take it to Federal Shariat Court, which is a very long and a lengthy process. The High Court has to respond within 10 days. So that petition is on the move as well, and we are going to have a lot of activity around it. We're not expecting any judgment coming from the courts, but what we want to do is we want to create awareness by making a lot of noise. We want people to be involved. We want people to mobilize, and we want people to stand up and understand what fractional reserve banking is, what inflation does to them, how they're being cheated on. And we want to question the Islamic banks, that they cannot advertise themselves as Islamic. If they want to do riba, they're welcome to do it, but we will not let them do it in the name of Islam and Sharia. So we are going to challenge them. They cannot advertise on any national TV, on any private forum as being Islamic, because we have a fatwa against them by 40 senior muftis of Pakistan who came together and who were the teachers of the man who is the architect of the Islamic banking. By the way, Pakistan is the place who has pioneered the whole fraudulent Islamic banking. So we are very guilty of what we did in Pakistan. So Sheikh Umar is there. The Islamic parties are with him. The Islamic scholars are queuing with him. We want everybody to gather. It's the right time. It's the right way of doing it. We are not doing anything on secret. We are on the legal platforms of Pakistan, the judiciary, the parliament, the media. We are saying our message very loud and clear that we are going to do this, and this is the right way. So we need your prayers. We need you to pick up our initiatives and replicate them. Coming back to my Sufi Sheikh, the second question, which I didn't tell you first, I asked him that, how can I do more? And he said, to do more, you have to ask knowledge from Allah. And you can only get knowledge by doing it. You will not get it without it. So fear nothing. And only fear Allah, and step forward and present yourself and take the lead. And I said, yes, if there's no action, there's no knowledge. And we have very little time. As Allah says in the Quran, soon enough. So soon enough is right around the corner. So if we don't act today, and if we still believe in the futility of our actions and our intentions, then nothing is left. So we have to stand up, and we have to be very loud and clear in what we say. In the Punjabi politics, there's a very famous proverb. They say, Zar Zan, and Zameen. So a man fights for three things. Zar is gold, which means wealth. Zan is woman. And the third is Zameen, which means land. So a man fights for gold, woman, and land. And a lot of politics revolve around these three things. But how many times have we stood up for Allah and we fought for Him? I don't remember that. And every time we claim that we are fighting for Allah, of course we have selfish motives behind that. And the biggest challenge is to keep your intention pure of the pure of the pure, because we'll be tested every day by Him. We do not have control over what we can deliver or what the circumstances would be tomorrow, but we do have control over what we choose and what we intend. So I thank you very much for being here to listen to what I have to say. With this prayer, I would like to end. That may Allah give us more strength and wisdom to stand up against Him.